So let's dive into this. So ladies and gentlemen, for the first exercise here, I would like to go and we're going to create a set of models that are progressively more sophisticated and which illustrate a larger and larger number of those elements we saw in the first model, and it will be working towards a model that's actually quite articulated. In the same class as that first model we built, it doesn't have perhaps all the elements, but it's in the same general category. It's either one is about sort of at similar levels of sophistication. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like you to do is to open up AnyLogic, and I would like you to go and go up to close the model. So if you have that existing model, you can go down in the File menu. There'll be something called Close All or Close. You should be able to do that. It will close that model. Do people see how to close it? Dylan sits ready. Okay. Okay, he's at the command station. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. So now I'd like you to go up to File, New, Model. Okay, and what I'd like to do is I'd like you to name this model ABM Gender Disparities. Okay, and for my, you don't have to do this, but for my peace of mind, I'm going to call it Masterclass. So Melbourne Masterclass 1. Yeah. Okay, 2015. Okay, sorry, I give a lot of boot camps. I like to know where these things are coming from, and I want to be able to download all of them to that site so you can grab these. Okay, so having done that, I pressed finish, and now I'm placed back in the situation. If you have the palette up, please go to the projects area, and you should see that you have for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, a nice and shiny model. Okay. It's shiny, it's maybe not obvious yet, but believe me, soon it will, like Saskatoon, shine. Okay? Okay, great. So we have a model here, and we have in the projects area, this is the one we created, and you'll notice that there's two things that are created. One is anyone remember what this is? The thing marked with an X? It's experiment. Great. That's excellent. And this thing main, this is going to be a representation of sort of the global environment, the stage on which agents struck, the place where all the populations will live, the thing that computes sort of population-wide metrics and quantities, those will all live in Maine. So Maine is kind of the core, the root of the system, the core sort of element of the system. Okay. And everything else related to sort of model operation will live within that. Okay, so we're going to come to Maine. I'd like you to go here, and we're going to add into this population a set of people. Remember, in this context, we're going to be building a model. We're going to have a certain theory of personhood. And we're going to start with an extremely simple theory of personhood. One that's so impoverished as to almost bring a blush. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to right-click on the model and say New, and then say Agent Type. And I'd like you to say Person. Okay? How did I do that? Let me do that again. Right-clicked on this, and I said New Agent Type. In AnyLogic, there's typically multiple ways to do things. It's more than one way, ladies and gentlemen, to skin that cat. So you could do File, New, Agent Type is another way to do it. And in fact, there's a way from the palette too. I'm going to say Person with a capital P. I regret to tell you. Okay. So do you see something that says Name of New Type?
Agent Type Name.
Agent Type Name, yeah, that'll be it. So okay. I'm guessing it's a slightly different version, but, okay. And you should be able to say finish, and you should see this happen. Do you see that? You say finish, and you see that happen? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've just gone through a step we will be repeating dozens of times during this boot camp. Dozens of times we'll be undertaking that step, okay? So let's go to personhood. Now this person, I noted that this kind of depicts a theory of personhood. It's personness with respect to models captured here. And remember, these models aren't always used to depict the way we think things truly are out there. They often help us think through, if it were this way, what would the implications be? So we're going to have a very simple depiction. So I'd like you to go now to the palette. And with the palette, we will paint canvases that may be worthy of Rembrandt. Well, okay, maybe that's aspiring high, but you can do it, actually, with enough patience. Let's go to the palette, and let's go to this area that's shown fittingly in a Da Vincian type depiction, like the measure of man. Do you see under agent? Yeah? Yeah? So perhaps we'll create a canvas worthy of Da Vinci. Okay? Okay. Over there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to go add in to this a parameter. Okay? Go drag in a parameter here from this palette. What did I do? I went to the palette, and then I scrolled down to this, and it showed me this, and I dragged in a parameter here. And what I'm going to name the parameter, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to add in an age for them, okay? And later we're going to come back and add some additional characteristics. So I'm giving this person some assumption. That's what a parameter denotes. It denotes an assumption. It provides a way of encoding an assumption, a way of communicating that assumption from whatever is responsible for creating a person. In this case, it will be the population. Mark my words. A parameter encodes an assumption and a way of communicating that assumption. Okay? So here we have age. And over here, when I did that, I named it age. Notice I typed it there, but I could have typed it in name up there. I could have typed it up there. Right? Ooh, these will do well. Right? Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so we've just added a characteristic to that person. People are composed, ladies and gentlemen. We'll come back to this. I wanted to dive into this. But we think of them as a collection of characteristics. Properties are one of the first characteristics. They have properties, they have characteristics. And so we've added one here, age. Okay, but next I want to give them another property. Oh, wow.
There's a couple of them in the room, apparently. So
Wow.
obviously, don't point it at people.
Okay, that's great. I have to confess, I work, my home department is computer science. And I meet with clinicians and those from around campus on a very regular basis in our this visualization facility called the Blue, which is still enjoys the measure point. And okay. Thank you. And so I meet regularly in that room. And one time I was meeting with the head of medicine, and one of my colleagues who meets with me regularly in the room came in, and he told the head of medicine, as he pulled out his laser pointer, told the head of medicine, I think you'd be surprised to hear, but over in computer science, when they want to point to the screen, they use the stick. That's actually true. They use a long stick. Not a branch, but a long rod. It's a strange fact. Okay, so we've just added a characteristic here. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like you now to go, let's add another characteristic. And to do this, we go to the palette again, and we go down to this area called presentation here. presentation, and we're going to drag ladies and gentlemen, from the presentation, we'll drag in an oval, okay? An oval here. There we go. Okay? Okay? And we're going to make this oval a smaller oval. So we're going to make it of radius. We can go over here and see its properties. After we drag it in, we're going to make it of radius 10. Okay? Radius 10. And try to drag it so it's centered on this place here. So if it's centered on that cross, that grid line, at that sort of that origin there, what that will mean is visually it'll be shown in the same logical location, which can be useful for figuring out what's going on. It's not critical here, but so how did I do that? Let's rehearse that again. Okay, so I went to, so I'm still in person. I went to palette. I went down to this one here, and I dragged in oval. Oops, I didn't quite center that. Okay, there we go. And then I went to radius, and I said 10. Okay, boom, there it goes. Okay, are people okay with that? People okay with that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, mark my words here. So, who would like another minute to catch up?
Some of them closed again in the properties.
Oh, down here?
No.
Oh, some of these are closed.
Yeah.
Oh, so if this is closed.
No, the section.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what you're saying is, in some cases, this thing is kind of closed like this. Oh, okay. Sorry, folks. So if you see something like this, you can expand this by clicking here. Hey, come on. Hey, come on. There we go. Clicking here, and that allows it to collapse or shove. Thank you, Jeff. Okay. Okay. Who would like another bit more time to go? People okay with this? People good? Okay. Okay. So now we've given a person two characteristics. We're going to shortly give them a third. The two characteristics are an age. You'll notice that age is when we add it, we just left its characteristics by default, but it's a double precision value. We could specify a default value if we wanted, but we'll leave it blank for now. And we gave him a depiction, a face upon the world. Okay? Okay, now, having done that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to go back to projects, and I'd like to double click on main. So we're going to leave person, go to main. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now add in a depiction of a whole population of people. We've added a theory of personhood in person. Now we will add in a population of said people, of such people. Okay? Okay? We've described what personness means to be the model. This will evolve, but this is what personness means, as described in person. It means having these two characteristics, and we'll give them a third. But in main, we're going to now add a population of actual people, of particular people, not just having an abstract concept of person. We're going to have many people who embody that, many instances of it. Okay, so double click on main. Are you in main? You ready? Okay, now watch this. Okay, okay, okay. I should really make sound when I click. Okay, and I just dragged over, and I'm going to name this population. Now, if you forget to make that name there, notice you could do so over the properties menu. You could have typed population here. Whether you type it in one place or another is up to you. How did I do that? Should I do that again? Okay, watch this. Okay, Dylan, yes.
Can you just make sure to clarify that you are in main right now, that they should be in that little main tab?
Yep.
I know always with the beginning examples, there's confusion about main or person.
Which, yeah.
MBB. So when you guys are adding things, just make sure you're in the same age
Great.
that the main happens to be dragging things into.
Great. So I went back, I double-clicked on Maine. Are you ready? Okay, now watch this. And I drag over, drop it, population.
Little circle.
I'm sorry, a circle?
Yeah. So without, when you don't drag it in person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you get a little circle up here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to show where, so I'll come to that, but basically it depicts where, from which sort of location down and to the right will people be shown. If they're shown as having a visual layout, where's the place that you want to be the origin of that, okay? That's what that little thing is. And you can actually drag it around, and so that if you dragged it like down here, then the people would appear sort of to the right and down from here, if they have positive coordinates anyway. But yeah, it kind of will show with reference to what point people's locations will be shown. Okay, so you ready? Do you have that population? Okay, we're not done yet. Okay, ready? I want to do population of agents. So this was single agent. I'd like you to do population of agents. Okay? Population of agents. Do you see that? Okay, not single agent, this is what it was originally, but population of agents. And you can leave this unchanged. Are you ready for that? Okay, so in the properties, okay, make sure this thing is selected here. Okay, I'm sorry? Okay, so if you have this clicked, you should be able to see this here. You may, it's possible it'll scroll, you may have to scroll up to the top. Okay, are other people having trouble seeing that? Okay. Okay, yeah.
What is the significance of changing from a single agent to population?
Okay, a single agent would just be this one agent here. A population will be, there can be arbitrarily many, however many you want. Okay? And we'll be making it actually so that it can change over time, etc. But this is basically, sometimes you prefer to just say, well, for example, maybe I have one agent that's my mother that is in this, and it's a distinguished agent, in which case you wouldn't do a whole population, just one. Something like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Other questions? Dylan? Yeah. So Dylan, can you characterize the nature of the dysfunction that you're noticing?
It was just that one-off.
Okay. 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 So are people okay with this right now? You seeing this? Okay. So I'd like you to now, for age, you notice there's a space for age. This is where we're going to put in the assumptions about the ages of people. Person defined a theory of personness, theory of personhood, this person. We're going to now give particular values to specific people. Are you ready for this? Okay, so we're going to draw the age from a distribution. And let's just make it uniform between 0 and 80, okay? 0 and 80 years old. Now, later I'll be showing you a way you do custom distributions. You could have a certain number of people in each age category and draw them accordingly. We'll get there. But I want to keep our focus on a few simple mechanisms right now before we start to try to run. Okay? People okay with that? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you ready? Everyone finish that step? Okay, let's go run the model. Okay? So go right click on simulation and just say run. Okay? Now what you will see is nothing hugely amazing, but here you will see a population. If you actually go click on population, you'll see there's 100 agents in this population. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to do this. I'd like you to click on this thing here and choose population. Okay? So mark my words. This is important because I'll be going through a different environment because of this. To view this population, I would like you to go click on this navigation here, and I would like you to click on this. Okay? When you do that, you will see something like this. Ready? So I want you to go click here. So pull this down and click here. Okay? There we go. And now you will see this. Here's our first person in population. They're 58 years old. Next person is 16. Next person is 77. Next person is 77. Next person is 75, 31. Do you see that?
It's just randomly picking people.
Indeed, it's picking them because we told it to randomly assign age between 0 and 80. People okay with that? Okay, next. Next. You may have wondered, where are people's shapes? Well, they're all on top of each other. If you looked when you ran it, and I'll just run it again for anyone to see, where are these people? They're all on top of each other. They're all stacked up like cordwood. Up there in the upper left-hand corner. See that?
Yeah.
See that? That's not what we want. We want to lay them out visually. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, go to the population here. And I would like you to do the following. There's multiple ways of doing this, but I'm going to show you a very general way, which is going to follow us through this boot camp. So having clicked on the population in Maine, I'd like for the initial location, which might be initially collapsed, you might have to open it up. I'd like you to choose in the specified point for their location. You see that? Okay, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to insert something here that will show, will give a layout. Oops, excuse me, a layout here. I'm going to say uniform between 0 and 500, and uniform between 0 and 500. Okay. Okay. Okay? Uniform. Now, this uniform, basically what we're doing is we're telling it, hey, draw a random number, it's a continuous number between 0 and 500 from a continuous uniform distribution. That's what that is. 0 and 500 are the information it needs to do its job. It's like when you were in high school, you wrote sine of 90 degrees or whatever. 90 degrees was the information sine needed to give you the sine of that angle. So it is 0 and 500, the information uniform needs to do its job. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's run this model. What should you see? What do you think you'll see now? Anyone want to guess? Okay, now you'll see people laid out there, right? Laid out visually. Okay? Okay. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. Okay. Great. I'm glad you share my enthusiasm. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's add texture. Is that phrase not used here? Okay. Great question. Okay, so I'll go to that next. So Gary asked a great question, okay? So he asked, why are we all getting the same pattern? Let me show you why, okay? So first, go to this experiment. This is a property, ladies and gentlemen, of the experiment, okay? Okay? So I'd like you to go to the experiment, and now over here I'd like you to go in within the experiment. You'll see the experiment has all sorts of information you can give, how long it should run, how fast it should run. There's an area called randomness here. Do you see that? Okay, and you'll notice that there's a choice here: fixed seed, random seed. In fact, there's others too, but I'd like you to choose random seed now. Okay? And now it will show it with different things. Now, why would you want to use fixed seed? Well, it gives you the reason, to make it reproducible. If you want to be able to show this result that you secured, to someone else, you want to be able to run it reliably, you want to be able to, say, run it in front of a boot camp, or something like that. You might want to make it reproducible, right? I mean, from a scientific perspective, reproducibility is pretty important, to be able to reproduce some runs that you did for that paper you submitted. And so sometimes you will want reproducible, but a lot of the time when we run it, we want to sort of run it in an exploratory way, right? And we want to run it again and again and see different results, in which case we'll just use random seed, okay? Okay, so great question, and that means each time we run this now, it will have the vagaries of where people are shown will be different. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, okay, I got to deprogram myself. Okay, so next, let's go add another characteristic for them, shall we not? Okay, I would like you to go add in a new construct. So right-click on the model, say New, or do File, New, and I'd like you to add in an option list. Okay. We're going to be adding in sex as a characteristic. And we need to specify the categories involved in that, males and females. Okay? We want to specify names for them so you can easily refer to them, not merely to rely on zeros and ones, because they can be subject to misinterpretation. They could be, if you gave 0 and 1s to sex and 0 through, how many states are there in Australia? Okay, let's go into territories also. How many is that? How many? 7, okay. So if you have 0 to 6 for territory, 0 to 1 through sex, you could assign a territory to a sex, which would be unhelpful. So we're going to give them clear names, okay? So what did I do? I went here in the project, I right-clicked, I did New, Option List, and I'm going to declare something called sex with a capital S-E-X, okay? And the names for this will be female and male. Male, okay? Those would be the two possibilities. Okay? And let's say finish then. Okay? So now we have a notion of a person's possible sex. This is sort of the concept of having a sex. And then we're going to assign particular sexes to each person in that population. Yes?
If you make the sex as an agent,
Yes.
what would make it different from
Okay.
as an option?
That's a great question. Could you have sort of sex as an agent? Okay. So it's a great question. Often agents are used for concrete entities, like things. So having an agent of sex means there's many particular sexes, and there could be arbitrarily many of them, which probably wouldn't be quite what we want. Could you do it? I mean, you could do it. It would. It's more, we're trying to distinguish the categories of sex associated with this, rather than trying to distinguish a whole class of things out there in the world, which is really what agents represent. Like a class, okay, there's people out there in the world. Or maybe later we'll have agents for things like clinics or homes. This is denoting, a broad set of things out there in the world. If you had an agent of sex, you would suggest that there's many sexes out there in the world, which, it really isn't what we want. We want to distinguish there's two categories associated with sex. And for that, that's what you use option list for. Or you could use other things, you could use an integer, 0 and 1, beloved to our biostatistician friends. But this is the cleanest way to do it, is with an option list. It's not a crazy idea. I mean, there are times where we may want to associate a characteristic of a person with an agent, like each agent, well, we'll be seeing it soon enough. Each agent, each person is a home associated with them. And there, the home might be an agent. But that's because there's many particular homes out there. Is that helpful? Okay. We'll probably get to see this more as time goes on. You'll see when agents, are sought after, are best recommended, and when it's other things like optionless. Okay? Okay, very good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's go. How would we add? So we've added a concept of sex to this model. So that there are these sexes. How are we going to associate that with each agent? How are we going to associate that with each agent? How do we associate age with each agent? We added a property to what? To main? To the agent. To the agent. So let's go to the person class here, and let's go add in from the palette, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go add in. We're going to go to the agent area of the palette, distinguished by its Da Vincian emblem. We're going to add a parameter here. And this parameter will be called, now this might cause a bit of confusion, but mark my words, sex with a lowercase x. This is a particular sex, just like the age was a particular age. There's kind of a concept of the sexes, different categories. And this is a particular sex this person will have, lowercase sex, okay? Okay, so how did I do that? Let me do that again for those who did not follow it. So the first thing I said, I went to person, because we're adding it to person. Each person is going to have a sex associated with it. Does that make sense? So we're going to person. I double-clicked on person to open that up. And ladies and gentlemen, I went to palette. And then from palette, I went to this Da Vincian emblem, which indicates the agent palette. I then dragged in parameter here. And what's the name of the parameter? Lowercase sex. Okay. Are people okay with that? Who would like another minute to follow that? Okay. May I proceed? Sorry? Okay. You go to palette. You have to select the agent palette, and then I dragged in parameter. Yeah. Just like that, and I called that lowercase sex. Okay, does anyone want another minute to complete this task themselves? Okay, now the next step is going to be key. The next step will be the bringing together of what we did earlier, okay? Next step is, watch this. Before we had age, it was a double, so we didn't have to change this. But for the type for sex, with what sort of information is it associated? What delineates its possible values? We're going to click here, and we're going to go down. What do you think we're going to pick? Sex. In other words, their sex is going to be drawn from the set of all possible values of sex, capital S-E-X. See that? Right? You can imagine doing the same thing for ethnicity, right? If you wanted to distinguish a set of ethnicities, you could do an option list in the same way and have ethnicity, and you do the same thing. Does that make sense?
What you've got listed there as sex is the one we defined earlier.
That's right. So basically what this type means, so mark my words, folks. Here we're trying to say, from what sort of possible values is the value for a particular person, they're going to have a sex. From what set of possible values could that hold? Well, the possible values are delineated by this thing called sex that we added earlier with a capital S-E-X. Remember that was male, female? Those are the set of possible values. Okay? And so that's going to be a sex. Okay? In other cases, we might have ethnicity, and it would have ethnicity associated with it, a set of all possible ethnicities. Okay? Okay, so are people ready for me to click this?
I don't have sex in my drop-down list.
Okay, so let's go check that out. Okay, that's because you need to call this a capital S. Yeah. Yeah, just in terms of numbers. And then you save it. Okay, great. And now if you go here, it should be SEX. Okay? Okay? Yep. Folks, just make sure if you can't find that capital SEX there, just make sure your option list is named capital SEX. If it isn't, you can go and name it as that. Okay? Are we okay with that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I would like you to go and I would like to do the following, okay? Okay, I will go to double-click on Main, and we're going to do something that's going to push our comfort zone, if you're not already, okay? This might push your comfort zone. For others, it might, well, I was going to say leap with delight, but it might encourage you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to go to Main, and then I'd like you to go to the palette. Okay, and it's still on this agent palette. You'll notice there's something there called custom distribution. Do you see that? Custom distribution here? Okay, I'd like you to drag that in. Okay? And you can say sex distribution of the population, okay? Are you okay with that? Okay. So what did I do? Ladies and gentlemen, I went to Main, double-clicked on Main. I went to Palette. I made sure that we were still with the Da Vincian emblem selected. I then dragged in custom distribution to Main, and I called it a sex distribution. Are people okay with that? Are you okay? Okay? You feeling okay with that? Okay? Okay. Okay, so, oh yeah, you want to put it into Main. If you put it in person by accident, you could cut it from there and go paste it into Main and move it. Okay? That'll be Control X and then Control V in Main. Okay? Okay? Would anyone like a little bit more time? You're feeling okay? Okay, okay. Now let's go to the sex distribution, and let's choose it's of type options. Okay? So in other words, is this a continuous distribution? Is it a discrete distribution, positive values for like integer 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever? Or is it for an option list? It's for an option list. And I'd like to select the option list sex, S-E-X, okay? Okay. Now, here we can specify what fraction, what's the probability of getting one versus the other. And let's make, what, females 55 or 51%, males 49%? Okay, something like that. Might be different in Darwin.
Does it have to be one digit on this one?
No.
Any number?
No, you could put any number of digits there. Yeah, yeah. Good question. Okay. So are people comfortable with this? So I'm saying 51% of the time it would be female. 49% of the time it would be male. Okay. 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 Next. So that was our distribution of sexes that we're going to want to put into place. Next, I'd like you to go to that population and let's use that. Let's use that. Let's use that distribution to draw values from it. Shall we not? Okay. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to go to Main. I think you're already in Main. And I'd like you to click on the population. And for sex, I'd like you to type sex distribution. Okay? Sex distribution. And you can just call it by doing this. It doesn't need any information to do its job. You just call it, it will generate a draw from that, either male or female. Female was 51%. Are people comfortable with that? Feeling okay?
Yeah. If
Okay.
you haven't predefined it, will it tell you, that you haven't done that already?
Yeah, it wouldn't give you, oh, okay. What I should have done is, I'm sorry, I stand remiss. I started to type this and enthusiasm overtook me. So I started to type it, I typed the first two letters, and then I did something that of which all of you will want to be aware. Okay? I did something that on a PC is control space, and it will fill in the possibilities here. It'll tell me what things begin with that. On a Mac, I believe it is option space. I think it's option space on a Mac. Okay, here we go. So how did I do that? On a PC, I did SE control space, and it gives me the choices. Yeah, I could even keep on typing, it will narrow it down. Okay. So Dylan, yeah?
They've created the distribution, and then any logic automatically creates the function. Can you explain to them what the difference between the two of those is, and why they want to choose just the one with the brackets rather than the custom distribution?
Sure. So I'll comment on a little bit of that. So basically, there's the distribution itself, and we want the distribution to do a job for us. We want it to actually want it to actually do something, to give us a number, give it this thing called a double. So we have to actually do something called call it. We have to say, hey, do your job. And we have to give it whatever information it needs, which is nothing in this case to do its job. So this one with the begin paren, end paren, that's the one actually requesting it to do something. If we just said this one, we wouldn't be giving it a number, a value like male or female. We'd be giving it a whole distribution. I don't know what to do with this distribution for the sex. Here, this calling this actually gives back a value. Actually says it's a double, but it gives back a value. It actually allows it to do its job. To give back a particular value for their sex. That's what we're doing. Okay, are people okay with that? Okay, who needs a bit more time or who needs to ask a question? Okay, can we run this model? Run or not? Okay, good. I don't hear any big objections yet. Okay, so we just ran it. Where would we look to see people's age and sex? Can anyone remember where we have to go? We have to go to this navigation thing, remember that? Yeah. Okay, look at that. Oh, okay, is there a dysfunction exhibited? Okay, here, I will.
Hang on, it said, hang on, I got rid of the arrow.
Okay. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, can I see this? Just a second. Okay, so what we need to do is, we want to look at, it says, sex distribution. Okay, so let's go look at Maine. Where is the distribution? Oh, the distribution is living in person. So you need to put it in Maine. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, you don't see that? Yeah, that looks like really interesting. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's okay. Now I think it's a happy camper for running it. Okay, folks. So do you see this with your model? You see these things? Okay. No? Okay. Okay, fun. Okay. Oh, this looks interesting. So it looks to me like, so you do have sex distribution there. So that's a happy camper. So so this looks fine. Sex distribution is undefined. Oh, that's because, oh, yeah. I hate to tell you, you got an eye there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a couple observations from commonalities here. One thing is be sure that you place things in the right place. If you get an error message, be sure to check, did I put something that was meant to be in main, instead did I put it in person? That's point one. Point two is, it's extremely sensitive to spelling. So if you forget that occasional I or A or whatever, it'll say Nate Osgood, who's that? Who's that? It will not know even a simple name for things. And this is one of the reasons I suggest doing that autocomplete. Control space is your friend, or option space for a Mac. It'll actually fill it out. The third issue is that it is case sensitive. It makes a big difference if it's a capital or a lowercase. So you have to be consistent with that. Okay, but for those who are running this, do you see something like this? Okay, great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to proceed. We're gonna now enter high gear. Okay. I know. Don't run out. Block the door, Dylan. Okay. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us now go and enter. We're going to go back to main. Okay. And what we want to do is, actually, excuse me, we're going to go to person. We want to allow people to have an income as well. After all, with all the health economists in the room, let's give them an income, shall we? Okay, so watch this. Go to the palette, go to main, go to person first. So from projects, go to person. We're adding this, we want each person to have an income. Okay. We want to add this characteristic to a person, and name to wit an income. So from the palette, ladies and gentlemen, let's go select a parameter and add it to person. We're going to add the parameter called income. Okay. Income. Okay? We're giving this person an income. Now, what we're doing here may seem prosaic, may seem mechanical, but I don't want these conceptual implications of this to be lost on you. I would just note in passing, and we'll return to this point, that what we are adding here is variables of very different sorts. We have age and income that are continuous variables. Each person knows, to however many decimal points we wish to keep track of it, what their age is and what their income is. Sex is a categorical variable. If we were to try to capture this in an aggregate model, this sort of heterogeneity, we would be forced to distinguish people to stratify the model, say, into age categories or into income quintiles. And we would be forcing essentially a much cruder level of distinction between people. Because each person is an individual in the model, we can keep track of as much information we want as to their history, as to their income, their sex, and to aspects of their environment or what have you. We can keep track of it with each individual without difficulty. That's notable. It's a real difference from stratification. I do a lot of work with stratified models, and they're great. Stratified system dynamics models for understanding spread of TB in our province, 5-year age categories, male and female, perhaps multiple ethnicities. But there's only a limit of how much heterogeneity we can get in there before it blows up. And we actually have to modify across the entire model. Here, each person, to add a new characteristic to a person, is pretty lightweight. You add a new feature in, you capture it and you can instantiate it, and if it turns out not to be as valuable, you can take it out in a very lightweight way compared to with what's required in a stratified model, where it affects the entire model structure. So what we're doing here may seem playing around, but it actually has implications for how this tool can be used to good effect. So income here. Let's go specify income, and let's make, ladies and gentlemen, in a nod to the very unfortunate disparities we see in incomes by sex, gender disparities, let's go to projects, go back to main. So having defined the theory of personhood includes having an income, now where do we go? You tell me. Where do we go to specify the particular assumptions with which people are assigned incomes? Where do we go? To the population. That's right. So it says population. Remember, that's where it says, okay, what person's age, what's their sex. And basically what's happening here, I want to emphasize this point. What's happening is for each person, as they're getting created, it's saying, okay, this new person, what should their age be? It's that uniform, it's drawn from a uniform distribution. What's their sex? Okay, I'll have to call the sex distribution. So for each new person, it's actually running this. It's evaluating this formula. It gets back a number, 32.325. And here it calls out sex distribution, it's female. For income, we're going to be giving a similar formula. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, now, and there's multiple ways we could specify this. I am here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here not to praise any logic, but to, well, not to bury it, but to learn its strengths and weaknesses. And I will show you something which may again push a comfort zone. Okay. Okay. So we want to have income depend on sex. Okay. Great. So what I'd like to do is this. I'd like to put in a formula for income, just as we've had formulas here for each of these. The formula. We'll first do one that doesn't depend on sex, just to make sure it works. We're going to do a draw from a log normal distribution with a mu, a log mean, in other words, of 11, a log standard deviation of, in other words, a sigma of 4, and a minimum value that can be drawn, which in this case is not binding, of 0. Okay, log normal can't give a value below 0 anyway, so we're not going to. It's not a binding constraint. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to come back and make it a sex specific. Yes, Dylan.
It might be useful to point out, even though we're not going to use it in this example, that AnyLogic does have the sort of formula wizard for all these statistical distributions.
Right.
Those numbers aren't just coming out of magical space somewhere. That actually has a meaning why they're in a certain line.
Good point, Dylan. And maybe you could remind me where I find that in this version of AnyLogic.
So if you see get support right above properties window.
Above the get support.
Just to the left of that.
Ah, okay. Ah, there we are. Choose probability distribution. Okay. Okay, great. Oh.
Obviously, you don't have to use it in this exercise, but if anybody's interested in building these things and don't want to learn what order things go in, this is the easiest way to do it.
Nice. Nice. In Dylan's generation, the term that's used for that, I believe, is sweet. Okay. Maybe that's a generation older than you. I don't know. I've lost track. Okay. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's run this model. Let me show you. Let me acquaint you with a button, if I may. And the button is not the panic button. It's this one up here that's called Build Model, and it appears just to the left of this one, of this green one. If you press that, it will tell you whether it's comfortable, whether it understands your model. So if you push it and it says build completed successfully, that means it thinks it's understood your intentions. It's kind of like it understands the grammar you're talking in. So it's, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, fine. But if it indicates an error message, then it'll show you where it thinks the error is. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. Build early, build often. Mark my words again. Build early, build often. Because if you modify something, just press build and just make sure it understood that thing. Then before you go do something else, do it again. And step by step, that is how you make sure you don't accumulate a whole bunch of errors. You do it one step at a time. If you start to have a whole bunch of errors, they'll get all confused and it'll be an unhappy camper. I don't know if you have happy campers here in Australia, but it'll be unpleasant. Okay, about it. Okay, you ready to go forward? Okay, let's run this thing, and then we'll put in the gender-based disparities. Okay, and then we'll give it a little bit of a visual pizzazz too. Okay, okay. So if we go down, we can navigate down, and we'll see different income levels. Some individuals in this population are well heeled, but some individuals have very low monthly incomes. Okay. So do you see that? Do you see the okay?
I see someone of 0.651 years of age who is earning $363,000.
Is the last name Trump? Trump complained recently his father only gave him a measly $1 million loan when he was starting out. He had to work his way up from the bootstraps. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to this eventually, but I'm thinking, so from models I've built, I've got ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics data sits behind it.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to...
How we can import those?
Yeah, rather than making up these actual data.
Yep. There's a session to cover model sort of inputs and outputs that I was thinking about, how you get data in, how you get data out, how to read it from a database or read it from a flat file or what have you, and read it from an Excel sheet where it's specified in Excels. It's quite easy to do, and if that's of interest, I can be sure to cover that during the week. Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, so, and I should note that in the scope of models out there, models, again, are used for very different purposes. For theory building, there's very stylized models that are extremely simple to see the implications of some simple thoughts about how things might operate, what are their broader implications. Other models are very empirically rich, and I tend to be more on the side of doing empirically rich models. So we have a lot of models which if people are interested that I could show that are grounded by empirical data, and which draw on administrative data or results from meta-analyses or primary data that have been collected from clinical work, etc. So glad to talk about that if that's interest. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we have now a model which shows this. Let's give people a bit of an indication, though, visually as to their situation. Okay. So what I'd like to do is to go to person, and we want to make the person's appearance depend on two things: their income and their sex. Okay? Their color will depend on their sex. Their income will determine the size of the circle. Trying to get you to think in any logic's terms. Where would I go specify that? First of all, would it be a name or would it be a person? I've already tipped my hand. In person. It's in person. It's a characteristic of the person. Where do you think I go within person? Sorry? Yeah, I'd actually go to this here, to this oval, because the oval is what indicates their visual appearance. If I want to change that visual appearance, I go to that oval, okay? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to go select that oval, okay? And having select that, I would like to show you two features. Okay, firstly, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to go to this appearance area, and you'll notice that we can set the color of this oval, okay? Do you see that? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for the fill color, do you see where it says fill color? Okay, now what I'm going to do is very important. It's a bit subtle, so I'd like you to watch this. For fill color where it says equal, I'd like you to click on that and change it instead to this thing that looks like it's a recalculation. In other words, it's dynamically calculated. It's calculated over time. Keeps on calculating. So now I have a box I could type in. Do you see that? Okay. Okay. So we are going to here we're going to set the color to be different. So for the fill color to use for this person, if their sex equals, in other words, and the way we distinguish, we're asking, is it equal to? We use equal. If it equals female, then the color will be yellow, maybe? I don't know. What color should we use for female? Blue? Blue? Okay. Red. Okay. Okay. How about for men? Gray? Black? What do you think? Okay. That one seems to be less contentious. Yellow? Okay. Good. Men will be yellow. Okay. So what I've done there, ladies and gentlemen, I put in something that's like this is a formula, and basically it says, okay, if this is a female, then make it red, otherwise make it yellow. This is a colon here. Now, I apologize. I know that's hard to read, so I will initiate what goes by the term the big screen, okay? And I will put that up there. This is what I put down in that box. If this is a female, if sex is female, then use red, otherwise use yellow. That's just a formula. It's just how you write a sort of one of these conditional things. You know, we write it differently in R, or we'll write it differently in SAS, or we'll write it differently in any number of different packages. This happens to be the way that it's written in the any logic context. Sorry?
We'll agree on the same way to write things like
Yeah.
that. Maybe and write it different.
Believe me, there's many people who agree with that, but they all want to do it their way. Okay. Are ladies and gentlemen okay with this? Okay. Okay. Yes. Question.
So, in this analogy, can you show the syntax, or if you want to write something else, you have to define, what is the question on the comma or?
So you're saying, how would you know how to phrase this?
How can we show the syntax?
Okay. So there's good and bad news. Hey, Dylan, mind the door. Okay, there's good and there's bad news. The good news is there are probably 20,000 websites that you could consult for how to do this on the web. 20, and I kid you not, it's in the tens of thousands. The bad news, okay, ready for the bad news?
Yeah.
The bad news is this is actually something called Java, which is a programming language. Yeah. So for anyone?
I just Googled.
Yeah. You'll find me doing tutorials in Java for any logic users online, where I go through the systematic syntax for things like this, systematic operators. I cover each statement in turn, and I cover how many things are done. The answer is you don't need to know all of Java, but it's really useful if you have some basic understanding of a core set of things. And I have coverage of that. I have videos on that you'll find, and I have slides on that. Okay, and Dylan also enjoys more than a measure of acquaintance with that language. The food is there, I take it. Okay, well we're gonna complete with a crescendo here. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's run this model. What do you think we'll expect to see now? What do you see now? Okay, red and yellow. Okay, why do we see the yellows? Who are those? Those are the men. And the red are the ladies. Okay, great. Okay, we're getting close here to finishing. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I want to set it so that the size of that oval, the radius, depends upon a person's income. Where would I go to do that in the model? Would I go to Maine? Would I go to the experiment? Where would I go? Person, and then where in person? The oval, and the oval, yeah. So I'm trying to get you to think, gosh, this is going to sound scary, think like any logic. So you want to think, where do I need to go to do something? What's it associated with? What's it a property of? What's it a characteristic of? In this case, it's a property of this oval. So we're going to go to oval, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go down here to radius. Now, you're going to tell me, and I'm trying to get you to give a bit of strength, debugging things, trying to figure things out on your own. What do you think I need to do? If I want to put a formula here, what do I need to do here? We just did it. You got to click on this thing, because otherwise it's an unhappy camper. If I put something here like a formula, even if I put something like this, it'll say invalid number. It's very, one might say, persnickety. So you got to go like that. Yeah. Okay. So for the radius, ladies and gentlemen, let us put down the following. Okay. Let's make the radius log of income plus 1. Okay. And I'm gonna, gosh, my aesthetics is fighting with my pedagogy. Let's make it 2 times log of income plus 1. Wow, Dylan, did you see that? Watch this. Watch this. If you go like this, it automatically comes to.
Nice thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really nice. Okay. 2 times log of income plus 1. Okay, now I'm sorry to do this, but I'm just going to have to say, in this case, it doesn't matter. But let me just do this. It'll spare yourself some time. You're going to be spared a lot of grief, and you won't know it. It's like you have a good brakes in your car. You're going to spare yourself some horrific accident. Just make use of make sure these numbers are clearly double precision numbers and not integers. It doesn't matter here, but sometime it will, and it could lead you in a world of grief. And we'll see an instance of that soon enough. Okay? Okay. So it's just a matter of good hygiene. Okay? Are we okay? Okay. Suppose we run this thing now. What do you think you'll see? Okay. You see little circles and big circles. Okay. So here we see different males and females, and each of them is associated with different incomes. That's great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the final minutes here. So first, we are going to impose a gender. We're going to capture the fact that in the world, unfortunately, there are pronounced gender-based disparities due to very many reasons, including some discriminatory practices. So I'd like you to tell me, where do I go in this model to capture disparities associated with the income we assign to people? Where would I go? Okay, go to Maine, and then where? Population, that's right. Because it is in the population, ladies and gentlemen, that we assign the income, right? Okay. And now, this is what I want to do. And solving this puzzle lies between you and lunch. Actually, there'll be a slight one after this, but not to put too fine a point on it. So suppose I wanted to have one distribution applied for men and another distribution to women. How would I do that? Using what you already know. Okay, if this is a male, we'll use this distribution. If it's a female, we'll use this one. What would I do?
We do that logic function.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, it's a ringer, and you will soon enjoy the comforts of lunch. Okay, so this is great. Okay, now, that's the basic idea, and I'm going to start that, but then we're going to have to modify it by an ugly fact. Okay, so you're going to do sex double, is it double equals or just equals? Double equal, because you're testing, you're saying, is this the case? Okay, okay, if it's male, we'll do this. Otherwise, if it's female, we will do 10 and 3, 10 and 3, okay? Great. Okay. Sure. Okay, I'm going to put this on the big oh, sorry, I failed. Okay, but there's one thing, this is a bug in it. There's actually a problem here that maybe I should tell you what it is, and then you could put in. The fact here is, and I regret to inform you, but if you go over here, okay, it actually doesn't tell you, but it should. I think you actually need to say self dot this in order for it to be a happy camper. If you just said sex equals, it's going to be, I think, an unhappy camper. Yeah, it's an unhappy camper. You notice it says sex cannot be resolved. You need to say my sex, which is unfortunate, but it's something with which we can live. Okay, yeah, at least some of us can live with that. Believe me, I'm trying to build a modeling language that will mean you don't have to do Java.
No, we're going to have to like, but in the model, you have something like common, language we might use. There's a lot of,
Sure. Would you like me to put something on the website that is common? Yeah, sure. Happy to do that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you're putting down. So you're testing is my sex male. If so, use this log normal distribution, otherwise that one. Okay? Okay. Are people okay with that? Okay? Great. So let's build early, build often, make sure it's a happy camper up here, building. Are you okay with that? Okay, and now let's run it. Let's go run, make sure it's okay. Now we have a predominance, the well-heeled individuals, regrettably, are gendered lot. They tend to be associated with male sex here because of this difference. Okay? Okay, and now the final thing that I would like to do, ladies and gentlemen, the final thing that I would like to do is to put in place a mechanism that actually has sorting by income. Sorting by income, so that you have people who are similar income exhibit associations with other people of that income. There's a gender, there's income-based segregation, in other words, going on. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to go to the population, and where is it that we specify the X location of a person? Okay, in the initial location. So instead of just drawing this uniformly from 0 to 500, we want their X location to be dictated by their income. Okay? So here too, we have to abuse ourselves with the self dot syntax. And again, I'll apologize for that in advance. So we're going to say self.income. But we don't want to do just self.income because it's a very, very broad range of income mapped to a very, very small space. Here, in the interests of time, what I'm going to do is to make it self.income divided by 1,000. Okay? 0.0. Okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, you ready to try that? So what do you think this will lead to? To what will this lead? What's going on there? Can anyone explicate the diagram? What's going on? What lies before us? Low to high income. There's a sorting. You can actually see it if you go down and look at each individual. You'll see this individual is well-heeled with a monthly income approaching $200,000, and this individual also is comparatively well off. This one is by comparison comparatively impoverished. So here we have this income gradient depicted on the x-axis, and we notice that as makes sense, as stands to reason from the income disparity we put into place, who lies disproportionately to the right of this midpoint? Wealthier individuals, to be sure, but who do they tend to be in terms of the other characteristics shown visually? They tend to be predominantly male. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I stand corrected in the most emphatic way. Well, either there's been a statistical fluke. The fox has shown its tail. Okay, yeah. So now we have the ladies can include some well-heeled individuals, but the males are also kind of. Anyway, okay. So I was thinking we'd break for lunch. My thought would be to next, to continue the enlivening nature of this, to put in some statistics about this population. But shall we wait till after lunch for that? Yeah. Very good. Lunch is served, and we will reconvene at what time? Is anyone? 40, half an hour? Are we ready for half an hour? Can we do this? Okay. And we'll be understanding if people are still consuming their sandwiches. Thank you very much for your patience, and we'll continue the example. Yes.
This is really great. Thank you very much. I just have a very quick question.
Sure.
For the last example where you